I've taken the shock absorbers out because they are Skyjacker. There is a factory 4-lift, no, not a factory, a Skyjacker 4-inch suspension lift in this vehicle, and the shocks are red and white. They got a red plastic boot and a white exterior. They too were absolutely mashed up and disgusting, just basically because of all the stones and bits and pieces that fly up. So I've taken them out. I've urethaned in the bushes for now, and that's just because I've pretty much run out of money at this stage to refit with new bushes. So urethane will have to do just to get us there. And of course, underneath here there have been many new suspension parts added. Just about the track bar and all the rods and turret ends have all been replaced with new. But last year we got the dreaded death wobble, and the dreaded death wobble is actually quite frightening. The only way you can sort of stop it from happening is slow down really fast. At some points on the way home it got so out of hand that I had to jam my foot on the brakes towing the boat. So yeah, it was a pretty eventful time. That, and also the fact that the injectors failed, was a very slow trip back and a very costly one with fuel, because we were just basically dropping fuel all over the place. We had 4 squirt injectors in it, and I've now gone back to factory style single squirt fuel injectors, and so far so good. We've been running it around probably at least for 6 months on that setup, and it's still running beautifully on 8. So here I am now, waiting for my new kit to arrive so I can remove this ball joint here and this ball joint underneath here, because despite my best efforts, this one's got to come up from around here. Now I have sprayed it with lots of penetrant, and same with down here, lots of penetrant in there as well. But from all the guys I've seen doing it on YouTube, you need a specific ball joint puller. So I've had one on back order. It was supposed to be here Christmas Eve, and then it was supposed to be here Boxing Day, and then it was supposed to be here yesterday, and we were in town yesterday, and of course they didn't have it, so I'm still waiting on that. But basically both top and bottom ball joints came with the kit that I bought when I bought all of this new suspension stuff here, so I have them, which is great. I just could not believe what this death wobble does to your vehicle. Although most of the parts are brand new, the track bar underneath the front here, there's a track bar down there. Yeah, the big one there that looks like a hockey stick. Down the end there's a bush. All that was brand new 2 years ago, and we don't drive this daily. And that bush is slogged out, so I've also had to reorder one of those bushes. But what I found out, thanks to my other YouTubers, is that of course every time this vehicle goes into that scenario of death wobble, it just is havoc on all other suspension components. And at this stage, this side was the worst, ruining these 2 ball joints. They may have already been tired, but I had to remove the axle to replace the universal joints as well, because they were slogged. So before I could get a warrant of fitness, which we have to get every 6 months in New Zealand, I had to replace those. So that was cool. They're out, they're ready to go. I've got brand new ones to fit in. I'm just waiting on this tool, because apparently it can act also as a bit of a press to help get them out better. So what I'm planning on doing while I'm waiting is I've removed the rear Skyjackers, and they're pretty much done, other than waiting for some. I'm gonna wrap the white paint on the ones I've already got out. I'm gonna wrap them with some 3M clear, just to save them getting tore up again. It's just horrible seeing stuff getting torn up. And as you can see, these front ones, well, no, you probably can't see these front shock absorbers here. The vehicle at some stage in Texas, or wherever it was prior to Texas, some car yard got a hold of it, and they slapped, I guess, tyre black, or the equivalent of tyre black, all over the orange rubber to hide it. I don't understand that. You can see down here too, we've got some prothane bushings that they've also painted. Lower control arm bushings are all prothane as well. That's really good stuff, and as far as I know, they're fine. They're in good nick. They've survived. But I don't understand why people, don't advertise the fact that we're running Skyjacker lift kit, and why they feel they have to paint everything black. So, for now at least, while I'm waiting for the kit, I'm going to remove front shock absorber and pull it out and give it a coat of paint and get it back to nice. And I think I'm actually going to paint the front spring at the same time Hot Sting Red, which is basically the Ram Red colour, because I like that sort of thing. I love contrast and I love colour, and at the end of the day, we've got massive 15 by 12 rims, and then we've got 36-inch tyres on there, so I don't think that it'll be that much of an issue. And of course, the reason I'm doing all the Skyjacker is because I've also purchased, and is on the mail right now, a Skyjacker steering stabiliser. Now I know that doesn't fix death wobble, but what I do know, that with big tyres and everything else, the factory stabiliser is just too small. And in saying that, that has also failed in the area all the bushes are shot. So I figured that if I'm getting Skyjacker red and white and they're going to be seen on the front axle, I'm going to put a Dana 44 chrome cap over the front differential, and that's also in the mail. I figured I may as well clean up all my Skyjackers and at the same time give the truck a bit of love around the back. So this is where we're at. I'm about to pull out the shock, take it inside the shed and start painting.